why am I writing this book? Because for 40 years, I have been in the hotel business myself. So I ran hotels for years. So you can hear from the way I'm talking about this that I love the hotel business. It's very exciting. It's a lot of fun. I have been a hotel consultant for the last 25 years in my own business, giving advice to hotel owners, investors, lenders, serving as an expert witness in lawsuits of hotel issues. The hotel business is a very large business. There are 50,000 hotels in the United States as we speak. But what I did here is write this book. It's about 16 hotel pioneers. Now, the names of those pioneers, you will know about half of them. So let me just run down some of them. You'll see. There's, alphabetically speaking, I'll give you the first one you know, of course, is Conrad Hilton. Hilton, who lived from 1887 to 1979. And he, of course, started the Hilton chain. The ones you remember are the guys who put their own names on the hotels. There are plenty of pioneers who didn't do that. Conrad regretted selling Hilton International to TWA. Second, he once owned the Plaza Hotel in New York. And because of monopoly, he was told by the federal government that he had to sell off some of the hotels. He couldn't control the Roosevelt, the Waldorf, the Hilton, the Astor in New York City. So he sold the Plaza to Sonnabend. Sonnabend was a Boston hotel company. You've heard of Sonesta Hotels. There's now the grandchildren run that Sonesta company, but Sonnabend then ran the Plaza. So his second regret was selling the Plaza. His third regret
was Elizabeth Taylor?
No. You're close. You're close. He married Zsa Zsa Gabor. Conrad Hilton married Zsa Zsa Gabor. He even had a child. He had a child with her. And so he regretted that. My friend, a guy named Kurt Strand, still alive, lives in Aspen, Kurt told me he's wrong about regretting. Because when he took Zsa Zsa Gabor to negotiate with foreign government employees, ministers or whatever, she was so glamorous, she was so sexy, she was so beautiful, she was so well made up with her blonde hair and her diamonds that she absolutely blinded those executives, those foreign ministers, and he made a better deal because Zsa Zsa was there than he otherwise would have. That's what my friend told me. Anyway, so Hilton is in here. And then Statler, I told you about Statler. Some of you said you remember him. Statler was a genius in the hotel business. I didn't say that about Hilton, but Statler was. Statler was an architectural genius, the kinds of hotels that he designed and built. He was way ahead of his time. He put amenities in hotel rooms that we all take for granted now. You know, a hook next to the mirror to hang your towel on. Newspapers at the door. Sewing kit in the hotel room, cold water coming out of the faucet in the bathroom, ice water, a separate faucet with ice water. He put something on the front door of every hotel room called a servador. Did any of you ever stay in a Statler hotel that had one of those? So just visualize a bulging door at the entryway into your hotel room. Why? Because if you wanted to put out your dirty laundry or a suit or a dress to be clean, you opened the side of the door in your room, it opened, and you hung your dirty clothes in there, locked it. The valet came in the corridor, opened it from the other side, never came into your room, took out your dirty clothes, washed and cleaned and pressed, and when he got finished, brought them back, hung them in your door, never came into your room, and then you took it out on the other. So that's a Statler. Then, of course, there's Howard Johnson. All of you remember Howard Johnson, the orange roof. And then he built motor lodges. His story is in here as well. Fabulous story. I mean, you can't believe what Howard Johnson went through and what a pioneer he was. I mean, you can remember, the 28 flavors of ice cream? He did hot dogs. He made a hot dog into a gourmet meal, right? He sliced... Pardon me? And pecan pie. He was really fabulous in the food he served. A lot better than other highway restaurants did. And then, of course, there's J. Willard Marriott. Well, you know about the Marriott Company. It's in it now. It's third generation. J. Willard started it. They're Mormons from Salt Lake City. Yes. And they behaved that way. They lived that way. My book tells a story about Jay Willard, who did his ministry when he was growing up in the Mormon Church. How his grandfather came to Salt Lake City in the first place and had 150 grandchildren or something, some horrendous number, like more than 100 anyway. So, but Marriott to this day, Bill Marriott is now 79 years old. His children are taking over the company. They manage 3,500 hotels in the world. They don't own them. They manage them for other owners. They also have a big franchise department. And you know, franchising in hotels is like franchising in McDonald's or any restaurant, wherein the Holiday Inn that you stay in is not owned by Holiday Inn. It's owned by local investors who buy the right to license the name Howard Johnson. They must live up to Howard Johnson's requirements in size of rooms, in furnishings, in the kind of food they serve in the restaurants, all of that. But a franchise is not an ownership. And so there are huge franchise companies. Marriott, Hilton, Starwood are the largest of the big ones. And then there are a whole batch of smaller ones, like Choice Hotels, which has Quality Inns and Comfort Inns and Sleep Inns, and Wyndham. So there are a lot of franchised hotels. 65% of all hotels, of those 50,000 I told you about before, are franchised. So forget that. Then there are names you never heard of. Did any of you ever hear of Fred Harvey?
Yeah.
H-A-R-V. Oh, my goodness. You remember? Oh, is he smart? He said Judy Garland was in a movie called The Harvey Girls. 1958. And you know who else was in that movie?
John Harvey.
No? Oh, goodness. She's on Broadway to this day. She played the lady detective. What's her name? Anyway.
Angela Lansbury.
Angela Lansbury. She was in the Harvey Girls in 1958. Who were the Harvey Girls? Who were the Harvey Girls? Well, Fred Harvey was an Englishman who came to this country as a young man. He worked in restaurants. He became thereby a food expert or restaurant expert. And he went to work on the Santa Fe Railroad, which ran from Chicago to San Francisco. In other words, that 2/3 of the country. And he thought the food on trains in those years was terrible.